All right, thank you very much, Noah. And of course, that's something that we will be watching closely in the next coming days, particularly going by where we have inflation numbers at the moment. Now, something else that is closely linked to that is the issue of the capital adequacy ratio for banks. And I want to bring in our analyst now, that is Ronnie Choka from Genghis Capital, just to give us his sentiments. We're seeing reports that smaller banks are actually struggling. Ronnie, good afternoon. Ronnie, I don't know if you can hear me. Good afternoon. All right, I think, Ronnie, we are still not able to hear you. Maybe if you could just kindly unmute.
Hello.
All right, fantastic. We have you there. So, Ronnie, we want to get your sentiments about what to expect, first of all. But again, we are seeing reports that smaller banks are actually struggling with as far as liquidity goes. So, what do you make of that?
So, thank you, Jimmy. It is right, as you point out, that liquidity in the banking sector at the moment is tightening. And just to give you the facts, if you look at the interbank rate, which is the rate at which banks lend to each other, it surged to a 5-year high of 17.04%, which again points to the tightening liquidity and the effects of the CBK's move to tighten liquidity spilling over to other systemic interest rates. And largely we attribute this to, I attribute this to three reasons. Firstly, if you look at the rising central bank policy rate, which with the incumbent governor of the CBK, Governor Kamau Thuge, who began with a 100 basis point rate hike. This tremendously tightened the liquidity in the money market space and eventually found its way into the interbank market. If you look at, even if you look at the CBK's March credit survey, you notice that the non-performing loan ratio has been rising. And this points to the tightening conditions faced by businesses and consumers in repaying their loans to banks. So at the moment, it appears that accessing liquidity in the interbank market at the moment is pretty high. And looking also at the opportunity costs of lending, given that the government is pacing up the yields paid out to investors through the yield curve control, one can only imagine how much it would cost a bank to lend to another bank versus lending to the government at a premium. So the opportunity cost of lending to other banks is rising at the moment.
All right, so Ronnie, I think the one thing that I'm sure a lot of our viewers would really want to know is, if I have money saved in a smaller bank, should I be concerned? Do I have any reasons to go and maybe start thinking of where to put that money?
Thank you, Jimmy. From my viewpoint, the current scenario of the banking sector in terms of its liquidity, we think our CBK has been very prudent in setting its thresholds, especially for all commercial banks. And as such, we don't foresee any systemic risk in as far as the need for consumers to shift for the banking system is well above the statutory threshold of 20%. Even the capital adequacy ratio still trails well above the industry threshold. So what we foresee from where we sit is that this is only a cyclical event, which may persist up to the time until interest rates start coming down.
All right, Ronnie, thank you so much. And of course, that's something that we will be watching very closely, just to see what happens, what comes out of the monetary policy deliberations this Wednesday. And of course, we'll be here to inform all our viewers about that. We're going to take a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be talking about climate financing. Stay with us.